Okay, looks like we are ready to go live. Let's make sure that all the equipment is working. All right, it now says I am live. So I hope so. Yes, looks like we're good. So welcome everybody. Thank you so much for joining me today for my top 5 tips for perfect voice placement. I'm really excited for this live stream. I love these live classes that I'm doing and I hope you find them valuable as well. So let me just get my screen all ready here and so I can make sure I have the chat going. Okay, so before we get started, I always like to know who's out there on YouTube, who's watching right now and joining me live. So please put into the chat who you are, where you're from, so I can see who's out there. I'm always interested to know the different time zones and kind of just who's out there in the giant world of the internet. So go ahead and put into the chat who you are, where you're from, and we'll go ahead and get started. All right, so let's jump in. We have a lot of content we're going to cover today. I hope that you will, I know that you will learn lots of things about voice placement, what it is, how you can control it, why it's important to have good voice placement when you're working on your accent, and really for any language at all that you're learning. And then I'll teach you some good exercises that you can do to safely lower your placement so that you can achieve a more American accent. So let's get started. All right, so let me give you a quick introduction to who I am in case this is the first time that you are meeting me or maybe you're new to my channel. My name is Julie Cunningham, and I am a professional American accent coach and a voice coach. And I own a company called San Diego Voice and Accent. Now, you're watching me on YouTube right now, so you already know about my YouTube channel. But I also work one-on-one with students and clients and helping them with their American English pronunciation and their communication skills. I also help people with presentation skills and public speaking, and also with voice projection if you just want to kind of improve the sound of your voice and the confidence that you can project when speaking to other people. And I work with native speakers as well as non-native speakers of English. I also have an online accent training platform called English Pro, where we have group classes every week, and I work one-on-one with students during the class, and a lot more. So in case you're interested in learning more about me and about the services that I offer, you can check out the description below this video. You'll see some links to my website and also to English Pro if you just have questions and want to learn more about who I am and how possibly we can work together. So again, this is a live class, so the replay will be available today. It'll be published as soon as we're done with the class today, and it'll show up on my channel under the live tab. So in case you weren't able to make the live stream, but you still want to benefit from learning about the 5 tips for perfect voice placement, you still can. For anybody watching the replay, just, go ahead and watch it and pop your questions into the chat, into the comments. For those of you joining me live, if you have questions, I'm happy to answer them. We'll have a Q&A at the end of today's session. So what I'll do is I'll open up the Q&A and let you give you some time to type in your questions, and I'll answer your questions live during the class. If I'm not able to answer your questions today, please enter your question as a comment to this video once it's been published, so I can answer your questions there in the comments section. And anybody who had sent me pre-submitted questions, I'm happy to answer them too during the Q&A. All right, so we're gonna get to number 4 in 1 second. I just wanna say hi, Abby. And Monica is here as well from Bogota. Wow, awesome. So we have Kim from Florida as well. Great. So wow, we have kind of opposite ends of the world here represented in the viewers. So welcome. Thank you so much for joining me. So point number 4 on this slide talks about the guidebook to the sounds of American English. Now, anybody who registered for today's event should have already received the link to download this free resource. So if you haven't received this guidebook yet, you can get the guidebook in the description below. There's going to be a link to where you can download this guidebook. But I want to make sure everybody knows how great this free resource is. I consider it a must-have tool for anybody who's trying to improve their American English pronunciation. And in the next slide, I'm just going to play a quick video that kind of shows you what's included in this guidebook. Now, again, this is free, and it includes information on every sound of American English, every consonant and every vowel. So you'll learn how to pronounce every sound of American English with IPA charts, pictures, MRIs, and also audio. So you see those little audio icons in the left and right hand corners. If you click on those those icons, you'll hear me pronounce that sound. So you can download this now. If you go to the links below this video, you'll see the link to download. So everyone should have gotten their guidebook already, but if not, please look in the description below, click that link so you can get your free guidebook and start using it. It's very has lots of information there for you, and I'm really excited to offer it for free. All right, so now all of that is out of the way, we're going to jump into the actual content of today's webinar. So here are my top 5 tips for perfect voice placement, and we're going to start with tip number 1, which is placement is the foundation of voice. And I have my notes here, so give me 1 second to kind of catch up to my notes. All right. So for those of you who are new to training your American accent, or you're just not quite sure what placement is, I want to give a brief definition of what placement is and kind of how it's created in the body, because it's kind of an advanced area of American English pronunciation, or just any kind of training when you're learning a new language. And it's a little difficult to explain, but I will do my best here to help it make sense for you. So American English has a relaxed, low placement. That's what it sounds like to me. When I hear a native speaker of American English talk, it sounds like their voice is kind of resonating or coming from kind of their upper chest, the middle of the mouth, and a little bit of the nose. I kind of hear this balanced placement or this balanced resonance. And that's what placement is. It's where the voice seems to be coming from, or where it vibrates from, or where it's centered from. Now, of course, the voice does come from the vocal cords. Your vocal cords are right here in your throat, behind the Adam's apple. That's where they attach in the throat. And you can see that here in this picture, the vocal cords are right there, okay? So that's where the voice is made. And that's true for everybody. So you have the air that comes up from the lungs, and it travels up the throat and goes between the vocal cords, and the vocal cords vibrate. They close, open, and they vibrate. And then that gives you your voice right here. That's the sound. And you can feel that. If you put your hand on your throat and you say, ah, you feel a little vibration happening. Those are your vocal cords. That vibration is from the vocal cords as they're vibrating the air as it's coming up from the lungs. But when we're talking about placement, we're talking about everything that happens above the vocal cords. So in this picture, it's really nice. It's been, I've outlined all these areas for you. We have this area that's outlined in red. Now, this is called the pharynx. So pharynx is the medical term for throat. So this space right here that's outlined in red is the open space inside your throat. Then we have the space here outlined in blue. This is the open space inside your mouth. And then the space here outlined in yellow. This is the open space inside your nose. So it's these 3 areas. We have throat, mouth, and nose. And that's kind of what's happening, where the voice is traveling as it exits your mouth. It's traveling through these open cavities or these open chambers, and it's getting bigger and smaller and kind of vibrating and bouncing off of the walls inside these chambers. And that's what gives you your unique voice. So when we're talking about placement, we're talking about what's happening to these chambers. How is a speaker using or changing the space of these or the size of these chambers? That's what gives a voice or a language placement, okay? So, like I mentioned, American English to me has a low relaxed placement that's balanced between upper chest, middle of mouth, and a little bit of nasal resonance. Because of the nasal consonants, like the N, M, and NG consonants, and vowels that come before the nasal consonants also become nasalized, so they have some nasal resonance. But your native language probably has a different placement. So when you speak your native language, your voice might resonate from a different place in the body. Now, every language uses a combination of these three chambers to produce a voice. They just use it differently. So to my ears, when I hear a native speaker of Spanish talking, it sounds more frontal. It sounds like the language is kind of resonating more at the lips or at the front of the mouth. Now, when I hear a native speaker of Vietnamese, I hear a placement that's maybe a little bit higher or maybe up in the nose. When I hear a speaker of Hindi, I hear a voice that kind of sounds kind of in the center of the mouth or in the back of the mouth. So you might find that when you're speaking your native language and then you go to speak American English, you're using the same kind of placement. So I hope, my hope is with this live stream class that you'll be able to identify if that's happening to you and then kind of learn some exercises to help you change your placement to sound more like American English. And to help you with that training, I'm going to play a video for you that will show you different placements based on different native languages. And you're going to see on the screen where each speaker is from and what language they're saying. But I want you to close your eyes and just try to hear the differences in the placements and kind of hear with them shifting. The video is about 1 minute long. Okay, so try this out. Close your eyes and listen.
Hey, 大家好，我叫马燕如，很高兴与大家见面。Hi everybody, I'm Yenru Ma. Nice to meet you.
In the word acha, the first a is a standalone form of the vowel a, but the last vowel a appears in the form of a modifier.
My name is Pierre. Je m'appelle Pierre. Je m'appelle Pierre.
설날에 어디에 갈 예정이에요? Where are you planning to go on New Year's Day?
Hallo, ich heiße Laura. Sehr erfreut. Hi, I'm Laura. Nice to meet you.
Hola, soy Lucía. Mucho gusto. Hi, I'm Lucia. Nice to meet you.
Okay, so I hope you were able to hear that. I think so. And also, I hope you could hear the shift of placement versus all the speakers. Now, something that was interesting when I first heard, when I created this video and first heard those speakers, when they were speaking in their native language and then when they shifted into English, I didn't hear a change in placement. It sounded the same to me. So again, that may be happening to you, that you're using the same placement from your native language into American English. And really, whenever I work with a client or a student and they have excellent pronunciation, their vowels are great, their consonants are great, they have good syllable stress, they understand the rules of English, but something, they still report that there's something about their voice or something that, gives it away that they are a non-native speaker and they're not quite sure what it is. It's almost always placement. Placement and, I would say, also intonation. To me, placement and intonation are kind of intertwined. They kind of work together. So if you're one of those students who you feel like you have good pronunciation of the vowels and consonants, or you're just not quite sure what's different, it's going to be placement and or your intonation skills. So, so these exercises you're about to learn will really help both advanced students as well as students who are just kind of learning the American accent. The sooner you can kind of nail the placement, the more, the better your accent is going to sound. All right, so here we are. Let's dive into now the actual exercises that you're going to do. But first, let me actually tell you more about what influences the placement of a language. Now, I kind of talked about this already in the prior slide, that it's the shape of the cavities inside the throat, mouth, and nose. That's what influences what your placement is actually going to sound like. So think about this as muscles, right? These cavities are controlled by muscles. Now, when muscles are tense, they tend to pull up things or make things smaller, right? You can kind of feel that when you're tensing your muscles anywhere, things kind of get smaller, or you just feel everything kind of squeezes. So when the muscles inside your throat and in your mouth and your tongue get tense, it kind of lifts everything up. That changes the size of the cavities. The cavities get smaller. The throat gets smaller, the mouth gets smaller, and your placement will follow that. Your placement will travel up because everything is lifted. Now, when the muscles are relaxed, the cavities open up, your throat kind of drops down a little bit lower, and your placement also follows that. So think about this as muscle movements as well. You want to feel relaxed. You want the space inside your throat and mouth to be open. That will help to kind of balance out your placement so that you're able to achieve a more American English sound. And it's not just about lowering the pitch of your voice. Now, a lot of people think they can just talk lower. You know, that's the pitch, right? That's the note of your voice. Is it higher or lower? So people think, let me just talk really low and that will change my placement. Okay, that will to some degree, but it can be damaging to your voice, to be honest. If you speak too low or too high at either end of the spectrum, and it's outside of your range that feels comfortable, you could actually damage your vocal cords. For sure, over time, you're going to get a sore throat. That's your body's way of telling you, oh no, like something is going wrong here. I don't like it. You don't want the vocal cords to be inflamed or to be sore. So if you start to get that sore throat, if you feel like you're kind of resting your voice too low because you want to lower your placement and it hurts, you've done something wrong, right? You've gone too far, too long. You need to rest and allow your voice to relax. So it's not just about lowering pitch, it's about relaxing the muscles and opening up the chambers, the cavities inside the throat, mouth, and nose to allow the voice, as it travels up from the vocal cords, to kind of reverberate or vibrate in these spaces that are nice and big and relaxed. So we're jumping into tip number 2. All right, so here are the actual exercises that I want to teach you today, and the first exercises are called relaxation and visualization. Now, a quick note about these exercises is you should consider them like a formal exercise program, okay? Just like any other exercise program that you might do, say, at the gym. Maybe you're trying to change the size of your biceps or your shoulders, you're trying to build those muscles. What does that take to change muscles? It takes quite a bit of work. Muscles don't want to change, right? They don't want to get bigger. They won't do that on their own, right? You have to work them. So, and it takes consistent practice and it takes time. You can't just work out your biceps once and expect to have any real change in the size or strength of your biceps, right? It takes time, it takes dedication, and consistent weightlifting. So this program you're going to learn is the same idea. It will take time for you to change the placement because you're retraining the muscles in the throat, the mouth, and the nose to move differently. And you're training your ears to hear your voice in a different way and to feel comfortable sounding different, right? Some people might feel a little strange sounding different. It doesn't feel natural, right? But it should feel different. You're speaking a different language than your native language. So when you go to speak American English, there should be a shift. Something should change, right? And that can be challenging for some people to feel comfortable doing. But I would argue that's the whole point of if you're trying to imitate an accent, imitating is changing who you are or changing how you sound to sound like something else. And that's what imitation is. And so that's what you're doing here. So it will take time for you to change your placement. I would not expect anybody to do one exercise and have a different placement the rest of their lives, right? So just so you know, treat this as a formal exercise program that you're going to do consistently and over time, and you will see a difference over time. All right, so we're going to begin with relaxation and visualization. Now, this is kind of like foundation to the exercises you're going to learn, because if you have tension in the muscles outside of the body, meaning like tension in your shoulders or your jaw, tension outside of the body is going to translate into tension inside of the body, right? So, and those are the muscles, the inside muscles, those are the ones that we want to relax. So if you feel like you're tense or your shoulders are shrugged, try to relax those muscles so you can then relax the muscles inside the throat and to really help lower your placement. So I'm going to give you a quick relaxation protocol that you can follow. We won't do every single exercise for every repetition that I recommend, but I just want to show you this is what you can do to help relax your body. And really, you want to relax your upper body. That's the whole point here. So it all begins with the breath. So you can take 5 deep breaths. And the type of breathing you want to do is called diaphragmatic breathing. It's breathing that's centered more in the stomach. Now, your lungs are here. Your lungs are not in the stomach. But you want to visualize that you're filling up your lungs from the bottom to the top. So it's movement in the stomach, not up here in the shoulders. So it's a deep breath that's centered in the stomach. You can also try what's called a physiological sigh. Now, this is kind of a popular way of breathing to help relieve anxiety, but it also will help you to just relax your body and kind of become more connected to the breath and connected to how the breath extends up into your voice. This is how you do a physiological sigh. It says, take a deep inhale, followed by a short second inhalation, then an extended exhalation out of pursed lips. Okay, so it looks like this. So you inhale as much as you can, and then do another quick inhale, and then exhale for a longer time. So that's the physiological sigh, and you can do those a few times. Now, one thing to be aware of, if you start to feel lightheaded or dizzy, stop and breathe normally, okay? But doing these a couple of times should help to relax the body and calm your nervous system a little bit. Then you're going to want to relax the shoulders, so you're going to do some shoulder rolls backwards and forwards. Smile wide and round your lips. So big smile, so kind of stretch out the face muscles. Open your jaw as wide as you can and massage the sides of your jaw with your fingers. Now this feels good to me. I tend to kind of clench my jaw during the day. So just gently, a gentle massage. You're not forcing anything. And then you can do lip rolls. Just to warm up the lips. Also helps to warm up the vocal cords. So again, the point of this is just to relax the body and get you ready to do some exercises to help with your voice and to help with your placement. Next, you're going to do a visualization task. So this is where people start to feel a little strange because it starts to feel different. It starts to feel weird. Suddenly they're imagining something, that they sound different. But again, that's the whole point. That's what you're trying to do here. If you're trying to imitate an American accent, visualization can be a powerful tool to help you get into the right mindset, the right mind frame, like, oh yes, this is what I need to sound like. This is what my gestures should be. This is kind of what my body language should look like, because it's a different language. Different languages have different placements, different gestures, different everything. So I want you to imagine your voice and that it sounds like a native speaker of American English. And if that's hard to do, my next thing is to think about who has your ideal voice. Who do you love listening to? Now, you might not have thought about that before, but start thinking about these voices that you hear like on TV or on a podcast or the radio or whatever you're listening to. Maybe an actor, an actress, a politician, a podcaster, a coworker, a family member. Just who has a really nice voice that you like? And what's nice about it? What do they sound like? I have some adjectives here that some of my clients will use to describe, what they consider to be an ideal voice. Is this person relaxed, calm, confident? Do they have a deep voice, a velvety voice? Do they sound melodic, sophisticated, passionate, low? Kind of think about what makes this voice sound good to you. Okay, and then now close your eyes and imagine yourself speaking with this same voice. So literally close your eyes and visualize in your mind's eyes, in your mind. It's you speaking, but when you open your mouth, you sound like this person. And pretend you're introducing yourself to somebody for the first time. So you're going to say, "Hi, I'm Julie. It's nice to meet you," or whatever your name is. But your voice sounds like this other person. Now, since you're trying to imitate the American accent, it's best to select a native speaker of American English as your ideal voice, so you can hear the accent, hear the way that the person is using their intonation and their stress and the linking, but more importantly, you can hear the placement of their voice. All of this will help you with your accent training. It's helping you to kind of embody this idea of like, okay, I sound like this person, and it'll just help the accent to come out a little bit more naturally. Now, again, it might not feel really natural to you at first. It might feel like, oh, I don't like this. But I would argue that's the whole point of accent training, is for this moment, you're going to kind of shift into this mindset of like, okay, native speaker of American English. When you're done, go ahead and shift back into your normal, regular self, right? So you're just kind of shifting back and forth. But this visualization task can really help you to kind of get into the right mindset of an American accent. All right, let's keep going, you guys. Now on to tip number 3. Now this exercise is called the yawn sigh. Okay, and it's deceptively simple. Again, some people might hear these exercises and think, oh, that's dumb, that doesn't work. No, I promise you, these exercises do work. And in fact, these are the exercises that voice actors or just actors in general will be doing to warm up their voices, and to help with their placement, right? So placement kind of shifts throughout the day. Maybe when you wake up, you feel like your voice is a little bit lower or a little bit higher, a little bit gravelly. The voice will change throughout the day. And depending on how much you're using your voice, you might be talking a lot, start talking faster, start squeezing, and your placement's going to shift. So these are exercises that professionals use as well. So we're going to borrow from the professionals and also borrow from singers, which you'll learn in a little bit, and use these exercises that have helped them to achieve the voice that they want, to help you achieve the voice and placement that you want. So this exercise is called the yawn sigh. I have all of the instructions included on the slides for you, so you can go back and pause the video and kind of read step by step how to complete each exercise, but I'll demonstrate them for you as well. So the first one, the step 1, is to take a deep breath and exhale. Okay, so you're just going to breathe and just exhale. Again, it's to help relax you. Now, the next breath you take, When you exhale, I want you to open your mouth and yawn. Okay, so again, this is called the yawn sigh. So this exercise is you do exactly what the name says. But here there's no voicing. You're not going to turn on your voice. It's just airflow. So it looks like this. Now you might actually yawn. That's completely fine and normal. And in fact, that's good. Because when you yawn, you're going to feel the sensation of the throat opening and the tongue moving back and down. That's the sensation you want as you complete these exercises. A nice, open, relaxed throat, low tongue. Okay? Now step 2. Do this again. Deep breath, exhale. But when you exhale, open your mouth and exhale just airflow for the first half, and then introduce an easy sigh at the end. So turn on your voice gently at the end. So it sounds like this. Okay, so just like you're yawning, but notice how easy it sounded, right? It's not a hard yawn. It's not where there's lots of tension there. It's easy. You want to have your vocal cords start vibrating in a very easy way. This is just a gentle warm-up. If that's hard to do, if it's hard to gently turn on your vocal cords, begin your exhale with an H sound and then say ha and go down your pitch range. Okay, so just like this. Nice and easy, starting with an H sound to ease on your vocal cords, to ease on the vibration of the vocal cords. So here are some common mistakes when doing the yawn sigh. I already demonstrated this one, but this is called a hard glottal attack. So glottal meaning vocal cords. So when you start to turn on the vocal cords, if you're going, oh, turning on the vocal cords really hard. So that's not what you want. You want a gentle onset of the vocal cord vibration. So again, start with an H consonant, ha, and then gently add your voice to say ha as you go down your pitch range. Maybe your mouth is not fully open or relaxed. So this is common for people who are maybe embarrassed or a little shy about doing this, or they just don't know that they're yawning with a closed mouth. Oh, so look in a mirror. Is your mouth open as wide as it can be? You really want to open the mouth because you want to encourage oral resonance. You want to encourage your voice to have a space that's large enough in the mouth to vibrate because, again, American English has oral resonance. It has a balance between mouth and chest and nose. So you want these chambers open. Or the sigh might sound forced or strained. So again, that's this kind of a sigh. So if it sounds strained, you're tensing right here. You don't want that. You want an open, relaxed throat. So relax the throat and focus on the exhale instead of producing the voice. Again, this should feel easy and effortless. So think open throat, open the throat. So the exhale is more important, right? So lead with the exhale and then turn on the voice gently. You want the same quality from beginning to end. So you might start out with a really good sigh, and then at the end it sounds like this. You might dip into what's called a glottal fry or a vocal fry, and it sounds like this. Now, you don't want that either. You want the sigh to sound the same from beginning to end. So if you're doing that, you're either just losing focus, you're just kind of becoming lazy and just kind of letting your voice drop down, maybe out of habit, or you've run out of air. So take a deep breath, focus on improving the quality of your sigh over time, keeping it forward. If you can't stop that fry from happening, then stop the sigh before you get to the fry. Okay, so stop yourself, just stop the exercise before you kind of go down like this. Okay, and over time, start to learn what's happening when you're dipping into that fry and see if you can avoid it. So that is the yawn sigh. You can do this as many times as you want. It shouldn't hurt you, right? None of these exercises should hurt or feel uncomfortable. In fact, they should all feel nice, feel good, and to help your voice and placement to feel balanced. So if you're ever feeling discomfort, stop the exercise, allow your vocal cords to rest. And I'll say this again and again in today's live class, but that's a sign that maybe you have poor technique. Maybe your vocal cords are already fatigued. They're already tired from talking a lot during that day, and you've just used them too much. Relax, don't do any exercise until you feel like you are rested. And if it starts to hurt, again, go ahead and stop. Okay, tip number 4. Now, these are my favorite exercises, humming exercises. And again, this is kind of like singing, right? But we're not singing. We are using humming to help your speaking voice. It also might help your singing voice, but when we're singing and speaking, it's the same muscles, right? So these exercises will help both. So this is what I do every day to warm up my voice. I love these exercises. I get the most bang for my buck when it comes to, where am I going to spend my time doing these exercises. They help me the most. So I think maybe they'll help you as well. So the purpose of these exercises, there's 3 main purposes. Number 1, to warm up your vocal cords and your resonance system. Again, the resonance system is everything above the vocal cords, so throat, mouth, and nose. You're going to warm up those chambers. Number 2 is to strengthen and balance your vocal system, which is what you want, right? You want a balanced placement. You want good chest resonance, mouth resonance, a little bit of nose, and you want to kind of attach the breath to all of that. You want your entire vocal system to feel balanced and kind of linked. And number 3, to safely lower your voice placement, because these exercises will relax the voice, and that's what you want. So step number 1 is to complete the tips number 2 and 3. So complete the relaxation and visualization exercises and complete the yawn sigh so you can kind of warm up everything. Now, step number 2. So pick a comfortable pitch and hum on the M sound, or you can say hum. Either way, it's an M consonant. So that's important here. You want to use a nasal sound to do these exercises. I think the M is the easiest, although you could use an N consonant or an NG consonant. But today we're going to use the M consonant. So a comfortable pitch, right? So that's a pitch that's maybe in the middle of your range. It's not up here. It's not down here. It's a pitch that feels easy, something that you can maintain all day long without any strain. So initially in this step, you're going to stay on this pitch and just hold it out. And this is key. Allow the maximum amount of air to flow out of your nose. All right? So if you don't have good airflow, you are not going to have a good experience with this exercise. You're not getting the benefit. Airflow is key. So how do you do this? Okay, so you're going to hum, and put your fingers under your nose to feel the airflow. You should feel warm air coming out. I feel a lot of warm air coming out. My throat feels open and relaxed. I feel like my vocal cords are barely coming together to produce a voice. There's not a lot of tension. It's just they're barely touching here. That's what you want. Because this is easy, there's no tension, no squeezing in the throat. You also might feel a buzz here along the lips, maybe along the bridge of your nose. All of that is great. Okay, and we'll talk about some troubleshooting tips next, but just this is kind of how you start the exercise. You want to relax the throat and feel lots of air coming out the nose. If you have a lot of air coming out the nose, you can't really hum for a long time. You're losing a lot of air, but that's fine. You don't need to hold out this hum for long periods of time. You want the quality to be good, so you want it to be lots of air coming out. Now, step 4, you're going to take a deep breath and hum on M or hm. And while you maintain an open, relaxed throat, hum down your pitch range to the lowest pitch you can comfortably go. So this is where I find the most benefit, is kind of warming up those lower notes in my pitch range, because that's where I dip into glottal fry the most, is when my voice kind of dips down or my voice just loses quality at those lower notes. And you need to have high notes and low notes in your voice. All of that makes you a good dynamic speaker. You just need to warm up those areas so you're able to kind of have good vocal cord movement and vibration, and also good air support throughout your entire pitch range. So to help you with this, you can put your hand on your chest and feel how your voice resonates lower and lower as you go down your pitch range. You can also imagine that you have your mouth is kind of lower. Your mouth is kind of placed right here. So it's also kind of visualizing this lower placed mouth and this lower resonating sound down here. So it sounds like this. All right, so as I go down the pitch range, my pitch range, I feel my nose is kind of buzzing, but I definitely feel more resonance down in my chest as I go lower. But it feels easy. It doesn't hurt. I'm not using any extra effort, okay? But if you feel any discomfort, again, stop the exercise, because maybe there's something wrong with your technique. And you certainly don't want to introduce any sort of tension or any pain in your voice. So as you get better with this exercise, you can start to kind of go up and down your pitch range. Okay, or go low to high. The point is, it should feel easy, effortless, and you should have the same quality of sound from beginning to end, and you should always have airflow coming out the nose. So here are some common mistakes. There's no airflow or reduced airflow coming out the nose. So if you're doing this, and you feel no airflow, guess what? It's because you're tensing here and you're just not, you don't have a good humming vibration going on. You need to open up the throat and relax. So imagine that the sound you're producing is 50% air, 50% sound, okay? Relax the throat, and imagine as well that the air that's coming up from your lungs is hitting your soft palate. That's the entrance, basically, to the nose. That's where you want all the air to go anyway. That is where it's going. But you're also just kind of aiming the air there. You're kind of imagining it's here. And you're going to feel as soon as you do that, that's where the air is coming. Boom, you're going to get lots of airflow out the nose. Also, just focus on exhaling, right? The exhale is the most important part. So you're releasing the breath, and the voice is just coming along for the ride. That's kind of secondary here. It's easy. So the exhale is first, and then you're adding voicing to the exhale. Maybe you feel that you have a glottal fry or a vocal fry while you're humming, especially at the end of the hum when you're at your lowest notes. So again, take a deeper breath and focus on supporting the hum with good airflow from beginning to end. This might take some time to learn how to control. So you can stop the hum before you dip into that fry, right? So if you're going, maybe you're starting out good, but then you're dipping down into the fry. Stop before that happens and try to evaluate why you're doing that, or maybe you're losing focus or you've run out of air. Can you take a deeper breath? Can you relax more here? It does take some concentration to keep your voice this kind of forward, balanced sound. You just don't want, you don't want the tension here. Because if the hum sounds squeezed or strained, yeah, you're probably straining here in some way, and maybe it's unconscious. You're not consciously doing it. You're not aware of it. But I bet you if you feel, and then if you do the opposites, try a very easy forward hum versus a throat squeezed hum, you're going to feel that difference and you're going to hear it, and it's not going to sound good. So the key here is an open throat and to use the minimal amount of effort that you need to produce a voice. So the vocal cords are barely coming together. Now, when I'm doing these humming exercises and I do them enough, for 3, 4, 5 minutes every day, when I'm done, the sensation I feel is, number one, my voice feels and sounds louder. Okay, it sounds louder. It's easier to talk. I'm not using any extra effort. And my voice sounds deeper. My placement sounds deeper. My voice just sounds more balanced. So this is a great exercise, again, to warm up your voice, to balance your system, but also to safely lower the placement because it should relax everything, kind of open up the chambers inside the throat and mouth and nose, and to help the vocal cords vibrate efficiently so you just get this nice, deep, rich quality to your voice. Okay? So humming exercises, these are my favorite go-to, get the most bang for my buck exercises. So the next exercises I'm going to show you might also work for you too. They involve straw and a cup. So this is straw and cup exercises, or straw and cup phonation is kind of how you might see it on the internet. Now these exercises are used, singers do these. Also, I used these clinically with clients who are having difficulty with their voice. But again, these exercises will help those populations as well as help you with your voice placement because they help to warm up your vocal cords. They help your vocal cords to vibrate more efficiently and with less fatigue. And they safely lower your voice placement because they relax everything and kind of open up the chambers and help all of your systems to rebalance. Now, you probably don't have a straw or a cup nearby. I didn't tell you to bring one. So I have these materials today. Here's my straw. That's what we're going to start with. So I will demonstrate what to do with this. But again, you can go back and watch the replay. Grab a straw at some point if you want to try these out and see if they help you. Now, of these two exercises, the straw and the cup exercises, I actually prefer the cup, which you'll learn next. My husband likes to use the straw. So it really is, what works best for you and for your voice and what feels the most comfortable for you. If you think the humming exercises are the best and you don't get much benefit from a straw or a cup, then no worries, you don't have to use them. So just pick what you think over time is working best for you, but try all of them. Try all of these exercises and see which one you like the best and which one feels the best and which one makes the most sense to you. And, that will be your go-to voice placement exercise. But we're going to start here with the straw. So again, I have all of the steps typed out for you, and I'll demonstrate how to complete these exercises for you. So this is a plastic straw. It's like one of those bendy straws. So you take a plastic straw and you place it between your lips, and the directions say to vocalize through the straw as you complete pitch glides from low to high and high to low. So really what you're saying through the straw is ooh, right? That's kind of like the only sound you can make. So think about saying the ooh vowel, but better yet, think about the word who, right? You want to introduce airflow to this exercise, just like every other exercise. So if you put an H sound at the beginning, you're going to get more airflow. So think about saying who through the straw. And it sounds like this. So hopefully you could hear the sound, but also you could hear the airflow as it came through the straw. If I put my hand in front of the straw, I feel a steady stream of air. I feel a lot of air, right? And right away I feel a little lightheaded, okay? So if you're doing any exercise, stop, and you feel lightheaded, stop and breathe normally, because you are changing the way that oxygen is making its way into your lungs and into your brain. So don't pass out, just stop and breathe. Maybe only do this for 10 seconds at a time and then stop and breathe. You know, it's up to you how you feel, but pay attention to that. But again, airflow is key, right? So I can say, ooh, and there's no air coming out, or I can say, whoo, and there's lots of air. That's what you want. You want to feel the air coming out the straw. Once you have that down, step 2 says to vary the exercise to include what's called accents, which are progressively larger hills with pitch and loudness. They are not throat accents, right? You're not squeezing with the throat. You're pulsing your stomach muscles to help control the sound, help control the airflow. So it sounds like this. Okay, so you can hear my pitch and the loudness kind of pulsing higher and higher. So I'm not doing that by squeezing my throat. I'm doing that by tensing my stomach muscles. And you can't see my stomach in this live stream, but I have one hand on my stomach and I can feel my stomach muscles squeezing. So that's what's controlling this. It's not the throat, okay? Because the throat's relaxed, right? Your throat's just kind of passively there. It's your stomach that's controlling this. Now, step 3 says, pick your favorite song and vocalize through the straw as you sing the song. Now, again, you can't sing words through a straw. You're just singing who through the straw. But you're going to pick any song you want. The point is you want a song that has lots of highs and lows in it to challenge your system and really work your entire pitch range. So I have 2 common songs here in the United States, the Star Spangled Banner or Happy Birthday. Now you can pick any song you want, but I'll demonstrate Happy Birthday through the straw. Okay, etc. So you'll do that, and again, if you feel lightheaded, which I kind of already do, stop and breathe, get your oxygen levels back in check, and then continue. When you're good at that, you can build accents into the song like this. Okay, again, focus on pulsing the stomach muscles, not squeezing in the throat. That's what's going to give you that punch in your the pitch and the loudness. Then do this for, 5 minutes. So a few minutes of just pitch glides, a few minutes of singing a song, and take the straw away and start talking. The sensation you should feel, if you've done this properly, is your voice should feel lighter, more buzzy in the head and face, somewhere kind of here, but balanced between, face, maybe you're going to have a little bit of chest resonance, and this kind of more forward lifted placement of your voice. You just don't want a voice that's trapped down here or a voice that's way up here. You want that balance, right? And so I feel a balanced voice that's easier to produce, and it sounds just a little bit louder. It feels like I'm maximizing the cavities in my nose and mouth and throat to give me the best sound possible. Now, this is the feeling you should strive for when you are speaking, a voice that feels balanced and lifted without any pressure. So as you kind of practice this, you might find here are some of those common mistakes that you might find. So if you feel that air is escaping around the mouth and or nose, okay, maybe you just don't have a good seal around the straw. So you want a good seal around the straw with your mouth. You don't want the mouth to be tight, but you just don't want any air to escape out the sides. So the lips are making good contact, but they're not super tight. They're loose, and you can kind of even feel buzz, like a vibration around the lips. And if you pinch your nose, it should sound the same as when, okay, so you don't want any air to come out the nose either. If your voice sounds strained or squeezed, like you're doing this, okay, you're probably squeezing here, so relax the throat muscles and allow the voice to be powered by airflow and breath instead of squeezing the muscles here. Maybe you've been talking for hours and you feel like your voice dips down into the throat again. It kind of gets trapped here. So that's common, that's gonna happen, especially as you're first learning these exercises. So if you can, go to a private place and pull out your straw and start recalibrating your voice over the day. So you can do these exercises throughout the day. Again, they shouldn't hurt. They should help to recalibrate your voice placement as your day goes on. And as you get stronger with this technique, you can try different straws of different lengths, different diameters. So the rule is a straw that has a bigger diameter, it's easier to do the exercise. A straw that has a smaller diameter, it's harder to do the exercise. So I think this kind of normal plastic straw is a good starting point, but there are bigger straws out there. I know if you like to drink boba tea, those tend to have bigger straws, but you'll find it's pretty easy to do that. So, kind of play around with the straw size and diameter and kind of feel what feels best for you. So the last exercise we'll cover today is the cup exercises. So there's a picture of me using a styrofoam cup. Now, again, you probably don't have one right now. That's okay. I'll show you how to use it. So the purpose of this exercise, there's three main purposes, and they are the same as the others. So to warm up your vocal cords, to help your vocal cords vibrate more efficiently and with less fatigue, and most importantly, to help to safely lower your voice placement. Now, I prefer a cup over the straw of these two exercises, but one bad thing about the cup is if you're going to use this cup, and you have it on your face and you're using it for a few minutes, when you take the cup away, you're gonna have a red ring right here and everyone's gonna see it. So just be aware of that. If you have to give a speech or a presentation or meet with a client right after, maybe don't use the cup right then because you will have just like a red ring around the face. So you might actually see me with a red ring after this. That's okay. So let me show you kind of what to do here. So you take a 6 or an 8 ounce styrofoam cup and you're gonna punch a hole in the bottom of it with a pencil or a pen. So I've already done that, and this is how much of the pencil I pushed through. So you'll see it's not the entire pencil. I didn't push it all the way through to the full diameter because similar to the straw, a smaller hole in the cup makes this more challenging. A bigger hole makes this easier. So while you're starting, you might want to push the entire pencil in so you get the full diameter. Maybe not. Just play with that and see what works best for you. But again, for me, I just did this much. I just kind of pushed it in just like past the part, halfway up the pencil itself, the writing part. Then you're going to place the cup around your mouth and be sure to get a good seal. You don't want any air escaping around the sides of the cup, like this. And remember, as you complete these exercises, this is key, you want to fill up the cup with sound using good breath support, okay? And don't squeeze in the throat. You want to feel a buzz in your cheeks You want to feel that vibration and in the cup itself. And you want to pretend that you're aiming for something past the cup. That's where the person is standing that you're talking to, or that's, 10 feet, 20 feet past the cup. So you're going to feel some pushback when you use the cup because you have this entire surface that's pushing back on the air and a tiny hole that the air is coming out. So it might take you a while to kind of get used to that feeling and actually be able to fill up the cup with sound and to push air through. But that's what you want. You're going to put your hand here and you're going to feel airflow coming out that hole. So put the cup up to your mouth and count to 10 just to get a feel for it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. Okay? Now start singing the vowel oo or ah up and down a scale and practice for a couple of minutes. So hopefully you could hear that. You could hear the sound and you could also hear the airflow. And already my voice feels louder and I'm not using any extra effort. It feels easy. So already I can tell, this is working. Then you're going to sing your favorite song in the cup. That's one benefit of the cup over the straw is you can actually sing words into the cup. And remember to fill up the cup with sound. So let's try Happy Birthday. Happy birthday to you, etc. Kind of do that full song. Now say various short phrases and sentences like, hello, how are you? My name's Julie. Oh boy, what time is it? I love ice cream. This is nuts. How hot is it today? Wow. Okay, so you're just trying to use actual words now. You're bridging the from vowels to singing to words. And you can choose any phrase you want. Now take the cup away and start talking. My name is Julie. Hi. Okay, so if you've done the cup exercises enough, you're going to feel, my voice feels louder. My voice feels easier. My voice, most importantly, feels balanced between the mouth and the upper chest. I feel like I'm using my airflow appropriately. I can feel air. So higher, lighter, kind of forward, kind of balanced. These are all things that you might feel. You just don't want a voice that's in the throat or a voice that's up in here. Again, you're going for that balanced placement. Now, some common mistakes that you might encounter: air escaping out the sides of the cup. So just make sure you're getting a better seal. You might need to use 2 hands. If you have facial hair, you might want to consider shaving your facial hair so you can get a better seal because the facial hair might get in the way. If your voice sounds strained, squeezed, or soft, like this, happy birthday to you, you're probably squeezing here. So remember, airflow, airflow, airflow. Go back to the whoo. Say the word who and see if you can get more airflow through the cup. Remember that you want to feel air through the hole and your target is maybe 20 feet in front of you, okay? If you feel dizzy or lightheaded, always stop. Take the cup away and stop. Any exercise, stop and breathe because, again, you're changing the way that oxygen is kind of coming in and out of the body. So allow yourself to breathe normally and kind of feel better. And maybe shorten the amount of time that you're actually using the cup or the straw, maybe just 10 seconds at a time, and then you stop and breathe. It's all up to you and kind of what you can tolerate. All right, everybody. So we're a few minutes over the hour, but that's okay. So now it's time for question and answers. So just as a recap, let me open up the Q&A section here. Let me find it. Hold on. Okay, Q&A. Oh. Okay, Q&A has been started. All right, so now is your time. If you have any questions for me, go ahead and enter it into the Q&A section right now. And while you're doing that, I'm just going to kind of review what we discussed today, because you've learned a lot of information, and for some of you, this might have been brand new. So we talked about, let me just get my notes here. We first talked about the foundation of placement, which is the foundation of voice, which is placement. And how placement is, first of all, created in the body through muscles, right? It's through the size and shape of the inside of the throat, the inside of the mouth, and the inside of the nose. And all of that is changed by muscles and muscle tension and muscle relaxation. Tense muscles tend to lift things or squeeze things, and that changes the size of those cavities and makes them smaller or lifted, and that your placement will follow. Relaxed muscles tend to open up everything and kind of lower all the muscles here, and all, your throat will lower down. Your placement will also follow that. So that's what you can think about. Placement is controlled by muscles, and for American English, you want relaxed muscles. You want a placement that's balanced between the upper chest and the mouth, and a little bit of nose. We also talked about relaxation and visualization. So this is kind of where you're going to begin your, when you're doing these exercises, you want to feel relaxed. You want to relax the outside muscles, so relaxing the shoulders, relaxing the neck, relaxing the face and the tongue. You also want to do some deep breathing, so diaphragmatic breathing or the physiological sighs that I demonstrated at the beginning to kind of help you to relax and open up the lungs and just feel that connection between breath and voice and placement. And then visualization, kind of visualizing yourself speaking with the voice of a native speaker of American English. If that's the accent you're trying to achieve, do that visualization exercise and start to feel more comfortable with imagining yourself as a speaker of American English. Then we talked about the yawn sigh. So you begin with a yawn, you gently add a sigh at the end, and that helps to open up the throat and drop the tongue and open up the mouth. And then we talked about humming exercises, which are my favorite exercises to do to help warm up my voice, but also to help lower my placement as well, or just give me a more balanced sound if I feel like my voice is too nasally, or maybe it's too low, or it's kind of scratchy. The humming exercises seem to fix it for me. And then we talked about using a straw or a cup to also help you achieve that same idea of warming up the voice, warming up the vocal cords, helping to balance your system, your vocal system, but also to help you to safely lower your voice placement. We also talked about the guidebook. So if you haven't gotten your free copy of the Sounds of American English guidebook, check out the link in the description below. Everybody should already have it. If you've registered for today's live stream, but if you're watching the replay or maybe you just didn't get it, please check out the description so you can get your free guidebook to the Sounds of American English. All right, so I'm checking out the Q&A. It looks like there are no questions, which is totally fine. If anybody has a question later on, please enter your question as a comment to this video, and I will be happy to answer your questions there. Because as soon as I close the Q&A, anything that is written there, oh, I do have one question. Anything that's written there will disappear, and I won't be able to see your question. So if you think of a question later on, feel free to add it as a comment, and I will answer your question in the comment. We do have one question here from Golner. Hi, Golner. She says, is it possible that using the NG sound is easier? Because I kind of feel more airflow out of my nose with NG than with M. I'm glad I can feel it anyway. Thank you. Yes, so Golner, yeah, you can use the NG consonant, the N consonant, or the M consonant to do these exercises. All of those are nasal sounds in English, so all of them achieve the same purpose of diverting all of the airflow out the nose, right? So the M, my lips are closed, so 100% of the air is coming out the nose, right? There's nowhere else for it to go. Same thing with the N. My lips are open, but you notice my tongue is up, and it's blocking all the air. There's no air coming out my mouth during an N. It's all in the nose. Same thing with NG. There's no oral airflow, it's all nasal airflow. So any of those sounds will work. So if NG works for you, that's like the sound in the word sing. Definitely, you can use that as well. All right, so thank you for that question. Again, add your questions as a comment, and I will be happy to answer everything there. I'm going to end the Q&A now because we are a little over time, but I definitely need to give everybody a wonderful thank you. Thank you to the people who have stuck with me till the end. Thank you for the people who watched the live stream and joined us. And thank you to the people who are watching the replay right now. I had so much fun doing this. Now, I will be doing more live classes on YouTube. I hope to make it a regular thing that I offer every month. So I'll be choosing kind of different topics and might do some repeats of topics as well so more people can benefit from learning the same material. Here's how you can find me and how you can contact me if you have questions. You're watching me on YouTube right now, so you already know I have a YouTube channel. I'm also on Instagram, and you can see my Instagram handle or name there. I'm also on Reddit. My website is the name of my company, San Diego Voice and Accent.com, all spelled out. You can go there to get your free Sounds of American English guidebook and to learn more about kind of the services that I offer if you're interested in working with me or learning more about how you can join English Pro. And also my email address. It's my first name, Julie, Julie, and then the name of my company, at San Diego Voice and Accent.com. So feel free to email me if you have any questions as well, and I'd be happy to help you that way. All right, everybody, again, thank you so much for joining me today. I hope this was helpful for you and will help you to achieve the right placement that you're looking for when you speak American English. All right, enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you all soon. All right, bye, everybody.